Right, this is the sixth video, or section 6, for the chapter 4 in pre-algebra. Today we're going to be talking about graphs and statistics that are often used to mislead you. That's what we've basically been talking about in this whole chapter, are graphs and statistics, central tendency, variability, and how to graph your data. But sometimes marketers or the news or advertisers will often use graphs and statistics, and they'll try to persuade you when actually their data is very misleading. So we're just going to talk about a couple of examples, do a little practicing on being able to tell when a graph is being misleading. So I want you to think about this graph right here, and I want you to tell me why it might be misleading. All it's doing is trying to explain how the cost of tickets for baseball games and basketball games have been different over the years. So how is it misleading? So our eyes automatically drawn to that really humongous basketball, right? And it makes you think that, size-wise, it is way bigger than that baseball that is signifying 1991. The concern really is, because if you look at the ticket prices, it is more expensive, but it's not extravagantly more expensive. The real issue is the coloring leads your eye to there. And then also because the ball isn't a bar or a line, there's more space to it because it's round rather than being a bar. So you've got to be careful. The volume of the ball, the larger ball, even the larger baseball, distort the comparison, so it makes it look like it's worse, when actually basketball prices are only about 2.5 times greater than baseball prices. Even though it looks like it's a lot more, it's not a whole lot more. All right, let's look at this one. This one would be a comparison between running shoes. You've got 3 brands. If you ask manufacturers of a brand of running shoe, they would say they last about 400 to 500 miles. So I guess they took these out and they tested them, and this is the graph they came up with. So if you're looking at these, you think, wow, brand 2 really outshines brand 1, right? One of the first things you should be aware of when you look at a graph is the scale on this side, the range down here. Okay, first off, one thing that should make you suspicious is when it doesn't start at 0. Okay, so start at 400. And if you look at it, you're like, wow, this bar is so much longer than the other one. But if you take the numbers and you average them out, it's only about 22% longer than brand 1. It's not significantly longer, although 100 miles is pretty far. Most people might get that in about a month. So you might say that brand 2 lasts about a month longer than brand 1. But again, that's going to depend on the type of activities that your shoes are doing as well. How about this one? So the problem I have with this one is that if you look at it, the different vehicle sizes in the pictures, the icons, represent the same amount. So it looks like the number of trucks looks like it's closer to the number of cars, just because of the size of the icon. But when you count it up, they're quite different. So in the large truck, he looks like he's taking up a lot of space because he's almost as big as 3 of those little trucks. But as far as registered vehicles, that's what this is for, is registered vehicles. The number of heavy trucks is less than 5% total of registered vehicles. It appears much greater, but it's really not that much greater. And there are less than half the number of light trucks than there are cars. There's way more number of cars than there are light trucks. So just the size of the icon can be misleading. All right, so here's some statistic statements, and I want you to think about why each is misleading. So a small business owner has 5 employees, and here are their salaries. The owner gets $90,000 a year. And then the other 4 employees get between $18,000 and $23,000 a year. And so the owner places an ad, and this is what it says. It says, "Help wanted. The average salary is $34,600." Why is that misleading? Think back a couple of sections ago, we talked about outliers. The owner's salary isn't really, it changes the mean of the average salary of the others. If he really wanted to be honest, he would say the average salary of the people who work for him and not include his own salary in there. That's why it's misleading, is because nobody is going to come in at $34,600 when, if I'm thinking average, then I'm thinking that that's what my salary is about going to be, when average is probably closer to $20,000. All right, how about this one? A market researcher randomly selects 8 people to focus test 3 brands. We're going to label them A, B, and C. Of those 8 people, 4 chose A, 2 chose B, and 2 chose C. So an ad for the brand A says that it is preferred 2 to 1 over leading brands. Why would this statistic be misleading? What makes it sound like half the people are going to choose that, which it is, 4 out of 8. But if you think about the number of people who are in the United States, to say that 50% of them would rather have A, when you get into a large sample size, it's a huge difference. So one thing that this statement is not telling you how large the sample was, right? So if they say 8 out of 10 dentists recommend, they're at least being a little bit honest by telling you how many people they've tested on it. This one, they're not telling you at all. They're just saying that it's twice as good as everything else. Well, that may not necessarily be the case. I have a couple of things for you on your homework link tonight, so go ahead and click on that, and I will see you later.